Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to the second part of tonight's session. Before we start working on tonight's activity, today I sent you an email. I always send the same email at the beginning of each cycle. As I was telling you yesterday, more like a, let's say, official welcome. And with this presentation, the one that I used yesterday, I was telling you like there are some very specific components that I assess and evaluate during each cycle. But mostly my idea is that you keep in mind that on this presentation, you will find the slide that will take you to this folder that contains the materials that we use in class, plus the other let's say tutorials that we have for other components of the course, okay? I know that you also have that information with Professor Laura Daniela, but just to make sure, like you have here the two possibilities. There is someone raising the hand. Let me see. John, yes, tell me.
Good evening, teacher. So
Hello.
sorry, you said to just send it to us today, but I haven't received anything yet.
Who did I send it to?
To me?
Not to, it looks like some of you probably, okay. It looks like I didn't include all the email because here we don't have 22. I only have Natalie, Mayra, Alejandra, Harold, Janine, sorry, Angelica, Daniela, Ana Maria, and Jennifer. Well, I have to check why it didn't include all the participants.
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Thank you. I
you.
appreciate
Thank you for letting me
send
know
it
that.
to me.
Yeah, because
No worries.
my mistake. It has to be my mistake. Yeah, probably didn't copy all the. Well, I will do it. I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, I forget something else. Present email. Yeah, because well, that's the idea that you have the access to the folders. That will be one of the things. Actually, that was the information that I always send at the beginning. I don't usually send anything else. Well, guys, the microphone open. I don't know if probably there is a question or something. I'm going just to turn it off just in case. Well, guys, I was telling you today, we, let's say, officially kind of finished our first unit. You already know that because of the dynamic of our course, everything goes really fast. So at the same time, I really hope that you are working on the activities in Moodle. Don't wait until the end. And well, tonight we will be talking about planning a fantasy party. It is going to be more related to a speaking component. Of course, I will let you know which are the aspects that I want you to tell me. But before we do that, as usual, I'm going to take attendance. Okay. Let me check in here. Saraya Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Cristian Albarracín.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Joelia Ayala.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrea Vaca.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Gilbert Cárdenas. Not here for the moment. John Carrero.
Hi, teacher. Here I am.
There you are. Brian Cordero.
Hello, teacher. Here.
Hello. Stephanie Cordón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Silvia Durán.
Present, teacher.
Freddy Fonseca.
I am here.
There you are. Julie Lisette.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Diana Lisette.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Daniela Lozada.
Present, teacher.
Okay. I have the emails here. Andrea Juliana.
I'm here, teacher.
Okay. Natalie Joanna. Not here for the moment. Mayra Juliet Pinzón.
Present.
Okay. Mayra Alejandra Plata.
Hi, teacher here.
Hi, Mayra. Harold David Rodriguez.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Harold. Janine Giselle Sanchez.
Hi.
Hello. Angelica Stephanie Sandoval.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Daniela Fernanda Sierra.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Ana María Velasco.
Present, teacher.
Okay. And Jennifer Jimena Vera.
Here, teacher.
There you are. Just to confirm, for the moment, the ones that are absent are Gilbert and Natalie. Let me try one thing. Mhm. Give me a second. Okay. Guys, I have just sent the emails, the ones that told me that didn't get it. Could you let me know, please, if you have just received it? Yes, John?
Yes, teacher, I received. Yes, teacher.
I
Okay.
got it.
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Teacher, me no. This morning?
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah, the thing is that I guess
Yes.
that I made a mistake. I didn't copy the emails correctly and only send it to the ones that are like the last names like from Plata, Perez, Pinzón, Rodriguez, Sanchez, those ones. And I kind of left out the other part of the list. I think that was a mistake I made because I don't know what else could have happened. But the thing is that some of you got it in the morning and some of you have just got it. Is there any of you in here that didn't get it? Okay. Well, guys, let's begin. As I was telling you tonight, is more like a speaking task. Usually at the end of our book, let me share the whole screen now. We have different, let's say, activities. First of all, the task, and then we have culture life. In our case, we will be working on the task, and it says plan a fantasy dinner party, okay? We will be working on a listening activity as well. And of course, as you can imagine from the title of our activity, you will plan a party basically tonight. There will be very like specific aspects to keep in mind. Of course, guys, just to refresh your memory, we will be working with the information that we have on pages 52 and 53. So let me zoom in here. And this is the information that we have. It says your fantasy dinner party. Here we have some aspects that somehow we can consider we should take into account. We can say as well that there are like 5 mini paragraphs. Let's read them, okay? Daniela Lozada, please, could you read the first and the second paragraph here from the information?
Okay, teacher. There will be a total of 8 guests, the students in your group and 5 other guests. You can invite any person you like, living or dead. This is an opportunity to meet famous people who you have always longed to meet.
Okay, that would be it. Those are like the first elements related to the instruction. We can assign that. Andrea, could you read the next paragraph, the third one, please?
Teacher Muñoz o Vaca?
Ay, rayos, Muñoz, sorry.
Okay. You can identify any person you like, living or
No,
dead.
the third one.
Okay. It's important that the evening is a success.
Success.
Success. So the guests list should work well as well. You may decide that you want a particular team, such as sport, politics, or film. Or you may prefer a mixture of people.
As a whole. That you say like whole. In this case,
Okay,
the
whole.
W is silent. Nice.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andrea. Mayra Pinson, could you read the next paragraph, please?
Yeah, teacher. You should produce a setting plan according to who you think will get on well together and have plenty to talk about. Include yourselves in the plan.
And finally, Ana Maria, last paragraph.
You will also need to think about what subjects of conversation to introduce and what questions you would like to ask your famous guest.
Very good. So notice, guys, that let me zoom out a little bit. Well, anyway, you have already access to this information on the book. We are talking about organizing a party, but with very specific aspects to keep in mind. If we summarize somehow all the aspects that are being presented, we can say that we are talking about aspects like the number of guests, the type of guests, the theme of the party, the seating plan, and the subjects of conversation. Now, to make sure that we are on the same line, let me zoom in a little bit. We have already read this card. The idea, guys, is that you're going to choose, okay? In this case, you are not going to tell me like that way. But which aspects of planning do you think will be the most difficult? Probably you have already planned a party before or have been like part of a planning, let's say, team of a party maybe. And from that perspective and from the 5 aspects that we have just read, from your opinion, from your perspective, which aspects do you think will be the most difficult? Okay, so I have just sent you a link to the chat. The idea that will you read the aspects. If you consider, for example, that all of them are difficult aspects, you can choose all of them. If you consider that only one aspect would be the one to be, let's call it like a complicated one because of all the organization that it requires, okay, only that one. You choose and then you submit, okay? The idea, guys, is that you choose as many as you consider would be the problematic ones. Let's put it like that. Well, guys. Okay. I was going to ask if the link is working. I can see that it is. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, to decide, and then we're going to see from your perspective, which are the complicated aspects. 2 minutes, and then we check. Okay, let's have a look at your answers. There are 18 for the moment out of 21. Around 2 of you are still pending. Let's use percentage. It looks more elegant. Okay, so we can say that the most difficult one in terms of our ranking, first of all, the theme. The second one, actually, it is a type of guests and the seating plan. And then on third place, the subject of conversation and as well the number of guests. Okay, very good. Of course, when we're talking about like a fantasy party, there are like those, let's say, air quotations, crazy aspects that can be included. It is not just like a typical or regular party. Let's go back to the book. We're going to move to
Teacher,
yes.
I think that one aspect that isn't here is the food. And I think that is the most important aspect, I think.
I agree with you, Andrea. Absolutely. Like
I
in
thought
some
of it as well.
cases, okay. Even in some cases, depending on the food, people attend the party. Even that is a very crucial issue. That is something very
Yeah.
interesting. Like what type of food is going to be?
Yes, exactly. If all people eat all food or special for some people. Or...
Some people are just attending because of food. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Or even in some cases, some people say, oh, no, I know that the food is not going to be like good enough. Let's eat something first and then let's go to the party. Because that is an important decision.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Even
guys.
before the party starts.
Absolutely. Well, that is a very good point. Good, guys. Okay. Let's see. Am I sharing? Yes, I'm sharing the book. Well, guys, as I was telling you, we're going to move to a listening exercise. Guys, on this part, you are going to take, let's say, a lot of notes. Because you are going to listen to 6 people and they are talking about who they would like to invite to dinner. Okay, so from the different aspects, let's say that were presented here on this card, they are talking about specifically the type of guests that they would like to have. For the guests that they are, let's say, pointing out, you are going to write down 3 different aspects. Reasons for inviting him or her, suitable subjects of conversation, and questions to ask or things to say, okay? As you can imagine, they are providing a good amount of information, like a lot of details, based on these 3 aspects that they want to share, of course, taking into account the person that they have in mind. Remember that based on our fantasy party, we are talking about famous people. It doesn't matter if they are living or dead. So keep that in mind. That is part of the whole intention. So the 6 people are talking about 6 famous people, and they are describing these 3 different aspects: the reasons, the suitable subjects for conversation, and questions to ask. As I was telling you guys, the idea is to write down as many details as possible that they are sharing. Okay? Do you have any questions about the instructions, guys?
No questions.
No, teacher.
Okay, very good. Guys, first part of the instruction, we're going to listen twice.
Unit 5, Recording 6. 1.
At my fantasy dinner party, I would have to invite Lady Gaga. I think she'd be a really fun guest to have at a dinner party. It would probably be a fancy dress dinner party, and then I could ask her all about her clothes and where she finds them all. We could talk about her music and fashion and things like that. And I'd also get her to sing some songs at my dinner party as well.
2.
I've always wanted to meet Eddie Murphy, actually. That would be the person that I would choose for my dinner party if I could. And the reason is because I just find him absolutely hilarious. And I'd want to ask him what it is about him that makes him funny? What does he think it is? Because some people just are funny and other people aren't. And I'm really interested to know what that magical ingredient is, and if you can teach it, or if he's always been funny, which probably he has, and what does he prefer, like, to do most, stand up in front of an audience, or movies and TV or interviews? I'd be interested to know the answer to that question.
3.
If I could choose someone to invite, I think it would be Mother Teresa. I think it's someone that's always fascinated me, having travelled quite a lot and seen what you see in countries that aren't your own, and the poverty and the illness. I think it's quite amazing that someone gave up their whole life to try and address that problem, and it's someone that's really fascinated me for quite a long time. I'd ask her why she chose to give up her life and help others. I think that she'd be just so fascinating to talk to, and it's someone I really admire. So I'd kind of like to say thank you for the inspiration that she's given me.
4.
I love to meet Marilyn Monroe, so I would definitely invite her. And the first reason would be because to have somebody that beautiful and amazing in a room would just be phenomenal and a one-off. And I then could ask her questions like, what colour lipstick is the best red that you can get, and all those girly questions that you could ask. But then I'd ask her stuff about her movie career and whether she felt like she'd ever been in love, and who those people would be that she really felt she loved. And I think I'd ask her if she hadn't have died when she did, what she would have liked to have gone on to do after.
5.
I would choose any king or queen from history, but probably I think the most interesting person to have at my dinner party would be Queen Elizabeth I, because there would be so much to ask her about, and she's such a fascinating figure. First of all, I'd like to ask her how she managed to be such a powerful queen for so long when being a woman in those days was difficult enough, and how she maintained her power over all those years. And of course, I'd like to ask her about her day-to-day life and all those domestic details, like, was she able to brush her teeth, or was she bald under her wig, or, you know, so many interesting details, which I think would be amazing to find out the truth about them, and how she really felt about being Queen of England, and what that meant to her.
6.
If I could invite anybody I wanted to a dinner party, I think I'd invite David Beckham, because not only is he extremely good looking, but also I think he'd have some really good stories to tell about places he'd been and people he'd met, and you know, the World Cup and what it feels like, just what it feels like to be as famous as he is, really, and what his life's like, I suppose. Yeah, he'd be really good.
Well, guys, we're gonna listen twice, remember? Please take some notes. Probably some of you consider you have a really good memory, but notice that they are sharing like a good amount of information. Let's listen the second time.
Unit 5, Recording 6. 1.
At my fantasy dinner party, I would have to invite Lady Gaga. I think she'd be a really fun guest to have at a dinner party. It would probably be a fancy dress dinner party, and then I could ask her all about her clothes and where she finds them all. We could talk about her music and fashion and things like that. And I'd also get her to sing some songs at my dinner party as well.
2.
I've always wanted to meet Eddie Murphy, actually. That would be the person that I would choose for my dinner party if I could. And the reason is because I just find him absolutely hilarious. And I'd want to ask him what it is about him that makes him funny. What does he think it is? Because some people just are funny and other people aren't. And I'm really interested to know what that magical ingredient is, and if you can teach it, or if he's always been funny, which probably he has, and what does he prefer, like, to do most, stand up in front of an audience, or movies and TV or interviews. I'd be interested to know the answer to that question.
3. If I could choose someone to invite, I think it would be Mother Teresa. I think it's someone that's always fascinated me, having travelled quite a lot and seen what you see in countries that aren't your own, and the poverty and the illness. I think it's quite amazing that someone gave up their whole life to try and address that problem, and it's someone that's really fascinated me for quite a long time. I'd ask her why she chose to give up her life and help others. I think that she'd be just so fascinating to talk to, and it's someone I really admire. So I'd kind of like to say thank you for the inspiration that she's given me. 4.
I love to meet Marilyn Monroe, so I would definitely invite her. And the first reason would be because to have somebody that beautiful and amazing in a room would just be phenomenal and a one-off. And I then could ask her questions like, what colour lipstick is the best red that you can get, and all those girly questions that you could ask. But then I'd ask her stuff about her movie career and whether she felt like she'd ever been in love, and who those people would be that she really felt she loved. And I think I'd ask her if she hadn't have been, if she hadn't have died when she did, what she would have liked to have gone on to do after.
5.
I would choose any king or queen from history, but probably I think the most interesting person to have at my dinner party would be Queen Elizabeth I, because there would be so much to ask her about, and she's such a fascinating figure. First of all, I'd like to ask her how she managed to be such a powerful queen for so long when being a woman in those days was difficult enough, and how she maintained her power over all those years. And of course, I'd like to ask her about her day-to-day life and all those domestic details, like, was she able to brush her teeth, or was she bald under her wig, or, you know, so many interesting details, which I think would be amazing to find out the truth about them, and how she really felt about being Queen of England, and what that meant to her.
6.
If I could invite anybody I wanted to a dinner party, I think I'd invite David Beckham, because not only is he extremely good looking, but also I think he'd have some really good stories to tell about places he'd been and people he'd met, and you know, the World Cup and what it feels like, just what it feels like to be as famous as he is, really, and what his life's like, I suppose. Yeah, he'd be really good.
Okay, a lot of information. So guys, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. Have a look at your notes to organize your ideas, to make sure that instead of probably 2 or 3 isolated words, you can actually manage to make it into at least a phrase or a sentence. So when we, of course, socialize, we can have complete ideas, you know, like, and to enrich the information that you have. So 3 minutes for you to organize your ideas, and then we move to the next part. 3 minutes is starting now. Okay. Well, I hope that you could organize your ideas. So let's see. Andrea back, the first person. Let's see. Who does she want to invite?
She wants to invite Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm. And what would be the reason for inviting her?
That Lady Gaga is really fun.
Could you repeat? Sorry.
I think that she said that Lady Gaga is fun.
It's fun.
Yes, and could be fun guest to invite her for a dinner party.
Mm-hmm. What about the subjects of conversation? Like, what could they talk about?
About her music,
Mm-hmm.
fashion.
Yeah, fashion, absolutely.
Music and fashion.
Mm-hmm. Basically. And the third one, what questions would she ask? What I would like to ask that to Angelica.
She would like
to us about fashion, music, I don't have any more.
Ah, okay. Okay. Well, it is somehow connected to that topic. The third aspect that the speaker is explaining. Maybe, Brian, you have the information? Like the type of question? Well, she's not saying the questions like specifically, but what the questions would be about.
Teacher, about the second one?
No, we haven't finished about Lady Gaga.
To ask her
Pues,
questions about her clothes.
Okay,
Sing her favorite song.
And to sing her favorite songs as well. Yes, Brian, Daniela, that would be it. Now let's move to the second one. Yes, Brian. Who is the second guest?
I remember Freddie Mercury.
And why?
Person, the person was a fanatic by Queen.
Sorry, Brian.
This person is a fanatic for this singer.
But we're talking about Eddie Murphy now.
Sorry, teacher, it's not about Fred, it's
Eddie
about
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie
Who's
Murphy.
a hilarious
Eddie
person.
The actor, because
That
he's
is
in
why,
He's an
Yeah,
Hollywood
the
actor.
My wires.
loves him.
that is why I was telling you guys, take some notes because they say
Murphy.
a lot of things. And I know that some of you may have a really good memory, but there was a lot of information that they were sharing. What did, let me refresh my memory. What did she said about Eddie Murphy, Christian? Like the reason for inviting the guy.
Because she thinks he's an hilarious person and she's fascinated about that.
He's fascinated about that. The possible subjects of conversation, Christian.
She said that she was interested in talking about why is he like the way he is, and if he thinks that every person could be like him or something similar, or why certain people are not funny at all and other people are too funny.
Okay, very good. And what about, sorry, the questions to ask or things to say? Let me ask that to Daniela Fernanda.
Teacher, I listened that about him, about his magical ingredients, movie, TV, interview.
Okay.
And no more.
No, that's okay.
I didn't listen more.
Okay. Anything else, guys, that you would like to add? There was one final
Yes,
thing.
teacher.
Yes, teacher.
She says that she would like to ask him what are his preference, talking about maybe stand up in front of audience, I think, or maybe more TV or interviews, I think.
Or movies.
Teacher, I also think that maybe she said that she wanna ask how some people can be funny and other can't. I guess.
Yeah.
That was also pointed out. Okay, guys, perfect. Sorry, thank you very much. And thank you, Diana, as well. Well, Diana, guest number 3.
Yes, teacher. He mentioned that he would like to invite Mother Teresa.
Mhm.
And the reason, because he maybe he admires her so much,
Yes.
and I think that that is the most important reason.
Okay. Thank you.
And also maybe because because of the travels that she did, maybe.
Okay. Thank you, Diana. And Freddy, what about the questions that he would like to ask her?
He wanted to ask her about why she dedicated her whole life to help the poor people, like why she gave up her life for that.
Absolutely. Very good. Thank you.
But he will say thank you to, no,
Yeah.
because he's
Inspiration.
gratitude at all her hard work.
Because she's such an inspiration for him.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
All of you are right, guys. Very good. Guess number 4. See, guys, there was a lot of information. Jennifer Jimena. Who's guest number 4?
Teacher, I couldn't understood the name, but I collect more information about the reason. It's a woman, and she would like to ask about her career in movie, in the movie scene. And thank you, Sarah, Marilyn Monroe.
Ay, Sarai.
I couldn't understand the names of the teacher.
Okay, don't worry.
And maybe I get that she would like to ask how how she couldn't fall in love with the people that she was making a movie.
Well, not necessarily the people that she was like making movies with, but she wants to know, like, she wants to know about like that love life that she had. Well, now that you know the name, probably the connection is easier, right?
Also because she was like a beauty icon.
Yes, teacher.
Absolutely. John, I would like to ask you about extra information related to Marilyn Monroe. Like the possible subjects of conversation. Jennifer already named one.
Yes. Well, teacher, something that I wrote down is that she would like to ask her question about the color listips, that maybe what is the best red one color that she can get, as well as she is interested in
knowing
about her movie career, about if she ever fallen in love or something like that.
Okay.
She ever felt in love with someone. Well, that's something that I wrote down. That's it.
Very good, John. And there is a final question, you know, that she would like to ask. I would like to know if Mayra Plata has it. Talking about the questions to ask her.
The first question that she will do it is about her the listed red listed is the best, and well, the other guys mentioning about the movies and all her career, and something about when she died, like what she will do is if she wasn't died at that moment.
If she hadn't died.
Yeah,
like what she would have done if she hadn't died.
Yes, that's so. I don't remember anymore. But
Don't remember, read your notes, Mayra, read your notes.
I didn't take it. I'm sorry.
Bueno, good. Okay, Mayra.
Well, it's funny because my mom loves Marilyn Monroe. So I
Okay.
think it's because she was really disruptive and she was very original and attractive. So that's the same reason why the woman in the weather she would like to buy her.
Okay, Mayra, thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, guest number 5, Sarai.
Is the Queen Elizabeth first?
Why?
Reason because it's a fascinating figure, and she wants to know how she managed the society in that age.
Okay.
And I don't have more, teacher.
Don't worry, Sarai, that's okay, because Sylvia is going to help us with the information that she also collected about Queen Elizabeth I.
She will ask her about domestic details, interesting details of her daily life, like her brush, her teeth, and something like that. And how she really felt about being a queen and managing her power.
Excellent, Sylvia.
Also, domestic detail, teacher. Ask about domestic detail of this year, of course, because in those days, be a queen was more difficult.
Absolutely. Very good. Finally, guest number 6, Stephanie.
The last person.
Last but not least.
Yes, he talked about David Beckham.
What's the reason to invite him?
Because he good looking and
you're right.
Yes. And because he has some good stories about her life or his career. I don't know. I don't listen no more.
That's okay. Don't worry, Stephanie, because Janine is going to help us with the final part. What about those possible subjects of conversation and also like possible questions?
She talks about David Beckham. It will inserted by the people who have met and the places that have visited around his life.
What about the topics of conversation? Like, what could they talk about? Janini.
That was about the World Cup, how he feels about winning that prizes.
Well, we didn't won the World Cup in particular. There is one final question, but I want to ask Julie Lisette, of course. What is that final question that she would like to ask him?
Sorry, teacher, I didn't listen the final question. Just about the World Cup. That's it.
Okay. Any extra information? Do you have it, guys? That question that she would like to ask him?
How he feels as a famous, like?
Exactly. How does he?
How he feels about his famous life, something like that.
Okay, very good. Guys, it was a lot of information. I know that sometimes this type of exercises can be demanding and probably you may be thinking, okay, we took 20 minutes, but that's, the idea. The listenings get longer. with different accents. Notice that all the participants, let's put it like that, also had different speeds when providing their opinion. And you know, that's how it works. And in some cases, we're going to spend a lot of time analyzing all the details, and I like keep on asking you questions and what else do you have and what did you write and what did you see, because well, that's the idea, to dig as much as possible. Guys, before we move like to the, let's say, hands-on part, let me send the link again. You already had it in the chat, but just to make sure, based on what we have already read and discussed and all the analysis that we provided, whose suggestion do you like best? Remember the 6 people? I put only 5. Lady Gaga, Eddie Murphy, Mother Teresa, Queen Elizabeth, and David Beckham. Oh, I miss Marilyn Monroe. That's embarrassing.
I say yeah, Marilyn Monroe with it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, when I was writing it down, I must have forgotten. I forgot like the person I have the name after. How silly that can be, and embarrassing at the same time. Well, I'm sorry about that. Let me write down here. Put Marilyn Monroe in the slide.
Sorry, teacher, but we choose just the character, right? Not for all the reasons that the guests give us.
Well, probably the reasons that they gave could be, why not, like somehow, let's say, a good input for you to keep in mind, but in general, like for you in particular, which of those guests would you like to have?
All right, thank you.
Okay. I was drinking water. 14 answers for the moment. The winner that we have so far is Queen Elizabeth. There are still 26 answers missing. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Yeah, Mayra, that's what I said at the beginning. I mean, I forgot to write down the name of the person that I'm taking the name after.
My mother will be really upset.
Oh my God. Okay, when that happens, I guess. Well, guys, basically we can say that the winner is Queen Elizabeth I with 48% of the votes. Second place, we have once again a tie, Lady Gaga and Eddie Murphy. And on the third place, once again a tie, David Beckham and Mother Teresa. Very good. Well, guys, as I was telling you now, this is your time to shine. Let me share the whole screen. I'm going to send you to breakout rooms. Guys, careful with the instructions as usual. On each group, you're going to agree on 3 guests that you would like to invite to your fantasy dinner party. The listening had 6, but we are not going to do 6. Notice how long the discussion was, so we're going to keep it to 3. So first, you're going to write down the name of the guests, actually. Don't forget that could be dead or alive. The reasons, you know, to invite those guests. The good topics of conversation. Also, in this case, we're going to add something extra that we didn't have while analyzing the listening exercise. Topics that are best actually to avoid. Guys, do you remember the meaning of avoid?
Evitar.
Basically, that's the idea. So think of the good conversation topics and also those ones that would be actually better not to include in the conversation. And of course, going back to the general idea of our activity, which questions would you like to ask to your guests? Another aspect that I invite you to keep in mind is decide on the seating plan. Remember that when we were having a look here at the information, let me share the book once again. one of the aspects that were explained, like important to keep in mind, was like the seating arrangement, like who would be next to whom. Those aspects are also relevant, and I want you to have that in mind. Based on the fact that we are talking about those three people in particular, that would be easier too. So guys, here you have the link. Remember that then the slide that you will be working on depends on the group that you will be assigned here. When I create the breakout rooms, as you already know, they are created at random, so don't write down anything yet. While I create the rooms, guys, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Great, let me make sure that we don't have repeated names. Excellent. So guys, once again, in total, you're going to have 20 minutes. You know that that looks like a lot of time, but we already know that actually that's even, in some cases, even we need more time. But I think that in this case, 20 minutes is going to be just perfect. Let me make sure that you can share your screen before we start working on our groups. Of course, guys, when we get back, I'm going to choose one of you to present the chart. So please, everybody, be ready to participate. Not like I didn't know, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's start. Daniela. Well, guys, welcome back. I was checking the slides and it looks like the time was just like perfect enough for you to finish the information. Yes, Fred?
Time was not enough for the
Okay.
activity.
Oops. No, because like I started having a look at the slide and okay, the information is complete. Okay, it's enough. Because in other cases there are like blank spaces and that's when I say, okay, they need 5 extra minutes.
Okay.
You had, yeah, I was like, but of course your perspective as the one who had to type is way too different. So thank you for that. That's the reality. It wasn't that like good enough at the end of the day. Let's see. Well, actually, I'm going to use the presentation because we can see way better. Let's have a look at the first group. We have Janini, Diana Lozada, Christian, and Brian. Diana, so as far as I can see, you have John Lennon, Cleopatra, and Lionel Messi. Give us, well, of course, to maximize time, I will, of course, check this later. Tell us why you chose Cleopatra.
Because she was a representative icon. Maybe she was an iconic personal and leader in the history. And also about the things that people say about her, and maybe for her pregnancy, physical and mental.
What about the good conversation topics?
About Cleopatra? Or
well, okay, let's mix it up. The good conversation topics for your learning.
The things that inspires him for compose his music and how he started his career and maybe the people that he admires.
What about the topics to avoid in this case when having a conversation with Messi?
We have in our group a big fan of Messi.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
That was Brian, and he mentioned that the things that we have to avoid or are called why do you never revert the situation when your teammates are losing the game? Why did you left Barcelona team? How much money do you have in your bank account? There are some others. Do you hang out with other women? And who's the worst player you have seen?
Okay, we'll check the grammar of the first question. Well, it doesn't have numbers. The third will be, why did you leave? Because we have the auxiliary, we don't need to make the transformation of the verb. And why do you never could to revert? But change that question, you know? Brian is just arriving because it has too many things. It has do, it has the modal, and then the infinitive. It needs to be revised.
Yes, teacher, we didn't have time to check all the...
Okay, yeah. Well, you put a lot of questions, but that's okay. Question that actually you would like to ask to Cleopatra, Diana.
Maybe are two interesting questions, and there are, what do you think is the best thing the civilization could create, and which person would you like to meet?
Okay. Group number 1, thank you very much. Yeah, make sure that you can like read again some of the ideas just to polish the grammatical aspect, especially here in the part of the questions for Messi.
Okay.
Thank you. Group number 2, we have Freddy, Daniela, Andrea, Noira. Okay, it's because, sorry, forgot the seating arrangement. You are talking about circular table following the next order. host John, host Cleopatra, host Lionel, and host. Well, you could also put your names, you know, to know who's sitting next to whom. But okay, in this case will be a circular table. Nice. I almost forgot that part. Well, group number 2, yeah. I now see once again what Freddy was saying, time was not enough. You provided like a good amount of information. Let me ask Mayra Pinzon. In this case, why did you choose Madonna as one of your guests?
Teacher?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Because her popularity and unique style, and a woman who don't care about the people safe of her. So that's interesting of Madonna.
Okay, very good. Let's have a look at the good conversation topics for Michael Jackson. You're in charge, Mayra.
Okay, teacher. Michael Jackson know about the reasons he decided to change his skin color. The reason of that and how was feel that people judge.
How was feel that people judges you?
That, yeah.
How was feel?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like how do you feel or how you feel? Because was and feel can't go together. That's the thing. How was feel that people judge? I would say like how you feel that people judge you. We can use S because it is already plural people, right? Remember that the S is only for third person. Eliminate that word because it's not like a question. But you would eventually do that because I'm like projecting like this. Topics that are best to avoid when talking to Shakira.
Well, teacher, we think it is better not to talk about the breakup she recently had with the ex-football player Gerard Piqué, and likewise anything related to her ex-boyfriend and girlfriend Clara Chia.
Absolutely. And which questions would you like to ask to Michael Jackson?
Who do you think killed you or actually killed you? What is your secret to dance with?
Okay. Very good. Yeah, just make sure the adjustment that I told you. And while I can't see the arrangements, I get that I have to zoom out. Okay, there it is. There are no preferences to place them because they get on well. Maybe they have a lot of things in common or they have been at important famous events before. We could sit them at the same table. I was reading the previous one.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, no, let me zoom out. Group number 2. Next to Michael, Shakira, and on the other side would be Madonna. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see that when I was projecting. Thank you, group number 2. Group number 3, we have Andrea, Sylvia, and Jennifer. Sylvia, why to invite Lady Diana, Princess Diana?
Princess Diana had a charming and a friendly personality, and she had the natural charisma to be a queen. So.
Well, I have to ask about the second person. Eddie Redmayne, that's the pronunciation?
Yes.
Okay, what would be the good topics of conversation?
He is an actor. He is the actor of Fantasy Beasts, the movie.
Okay.
About his career, his memories when he was young, and the reason why he decided to be an actor for a living.
Okay. The topics to avoid with Angelina Jolie.
And don't talk about anything related with her husband, like Brad Pitt or Johnny Lee, and maybe about his
Her
her daughter, and maybe his ¿cómo se dice gemelos? Her twins.
Her twins.
Yeah.
And on the same line, what questions would you like to ask Angelina Jolie?
We think that what advice could you she give to the woman to undertake be a powerful woman?
Women, okay.
Women.
Well, I already read the arrangement. You said that there is no preference. They are famous, so they could be seated on the same table. Very good. Thank you. Group number 3. Group number 4, Stephanie, Angelica, Judy, Lisette. What? Stephanie, Angelica, and Judy, Lisette. Period. Stephanie, what about Morgan Freeman? The reason to invite him?
The reason is because my classmate has chosen him is because her consider that he is an excellent actor, and her love when he is storytelling a documentary.
And she loves, not her, she. What about the good conversation topics with Cani Garcia?
Topics, Cani Garcia, women's rights, tell about the LGBT community, and tell about her country, Puerto Rico.
Okay. The topics to avoid with Henry Cavill.
In the series, because it said that he resigned because he didn't agree with the direction the series was taking.
Okay. And question that you would like to ask to Morgan Freeman.
Is he was considered to becoming an actor, or he kept in mind other options? How does he prepare to tell in a documentary or his role in a movie?
Okay, very good. Let's have a look at the seating arrangement. We think everyone could sit at the same table and they would get along very well. Everyone speaks English, so the communication wouldn't be a problem. Also, they all belong to the show business, so they would have common topics to talk about. Okay, interesting point of view. Group number 4, thank you very much. Group number 5, Ana Maria, Harold, and John. Harold, why Jim Carrey?
Okay, teacher, we put Jim Carrey because we think that he's an incredible comedian and actor, and he looks like a kind, funny, and interesting person.
Okay, good conversation topics with Johnny Depp. Okay, that is very short and straight to the point, but okay. Harold.
Sorry, teacher, can you repeat?
Sure, which are the good conversation topics with Johnny Depp?
Okay, we only put that we have seen in the screen movies about movies after how to be an actor, and is what music does he like, and what about his life.
Okay, topics that are best to avoid with Taylor Swift.
Yes, as we know, she's a singer. For that reason, we will ask her about her music, because she's a famous and important singer in our days.
But I was asking about the topics to avoid.
Sorry, teacher. I'm there. Okay, we put that. It's usual that people avoid to talk about religious stuff. In that cases, we apply it.
Okay. And finally, the questions you would like to ask to Jim Carrey.
Okay, we put what do you do normally? What do you do normally do? Are you happy? And will you change your life if you could?
Okay, let's have a look at the arrangement. If I click on it, then I would move to the next one. Yes. Well, any seat would be great. What it is important is that we are also surrounded by people who are interesting. I would say interested from your point of view. Remember that we already talked about the difference between, I know, interesting.
Yes,
No,
teacher, because
interesting.
we are
Yeah, sorry.
describing. Mhm.
Yeah. In this case, actually, interesting works absolutely. My mistake. Okay, group number 5. Thank you very much. And group number 6, only 2 participants, Sarai and Mayra. So, Sarai, why Adele?
Because she has a highly talent. Also, she is known for her down-to-earth personality and sense of humor. And her music is known for its raw and emotional lyrics, often inspired by her personal experiences.
Well, on the same line, the good conversations topics with Adele.
I would like to talk about music, philanthropy, and life goals.
About Marie Curie, the topics to avoid. Sarai.
Sorry. When her husband died in a car accident, how difficult it is to raise 2 little girls without their dad, and her affair with Paul Langevin. Oh my God.
Langevin.
Okay, Mayra, thank you. Well, Sarai, to finish this part, the questions to ask Marie Curie.
How difficult could being the only woman represent the female gender in science? And what was the most beautiful moment in her life?
And which are her favorite books?
Oh, okay.
Keep in mind, Sarai and Mayra, the spelling of race, because they have similar pronunciation. Probably you are confusing it. You are talking about the upbringing of someone. This is like, let's put it like a competition, you know? I'm talking about the spelling. Yeah, keep that in mind. They are homophones, son homófonas. So check the spelling because this is not the spelling that you need in here. How difficult could it be? How difficult it could be to be? It sounds like redundant, but could being, remember that after a modal, we can't use ing. It's, let's say, an impossible combination. I know that I am sounding like dramatic, but just like for you to keep in mind if you want to restate. Let's have a look at the seating arrangement together, because it's possible that they find common ground like their dedication to their work and their desire to make positive impact on the world. They also both faced obstacles and challenges in their lives and careers, and were known for their perseverance and resilience. Interesting. Very good, guys. Let me zoom out. I think that would be it. Keep in mind the corrections that I was giving you. Well, Freddie already stated something that it is true, of course, and actually time wasn't that enough. So I already saw that some of you were still like making so many corrections, like polishing the idea, and it's okay. Remember that, let's say that in case that you want to make any correction, you have until tomorrow at 6. Then after tomorrow, you can't make any changes, okay? Well, we had 6 different parties with different guests from all points of view. Guys, to finish, let's go back to the Mentimeter that we were working at the beginning of the session. And now this is going to be more like an individual thing. I would like to ask you, whose dinner party would you most like to attend and why? In the chat in a moment, Janine said that she would like to attend table number 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, you don't have to provide like a reason for every single guest. We can talk about like the general idea. Notice that in some cases, all of them were part of show business. You already noticed. In other cases, let's say that the tables were a little bit more eclectic. But that's the idea. Just like to wrap up and to finish this session in particular, which of these parties would you like to attend? Let's refresh our memory. From party number 1, well, you already have access to the presentation, but just to organize the information, we had John Lennon, Cleopatra, Lionel Messi. Party number 2, Shakira, Michael Jackson, and Madonna. Party number 3, Princess Diana, Eddie Redmayne, and Angelina Jolie. Party number 4, Morgan Freeman, Kenny Garcia, and Henry Cavill. Party number 5, Jim Carrey, Johnny Depp, and Taylor Swift. Party number 6, Adele and Marie Curie. Okay? Something very short, very precise. You're gonna have 5 minutes, and with this activity, we finish the session. Okay? Is the link working, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Perfect.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. 5 minutes starting now. Let's start having a look at some of your answers. Here we have, I would like to attend table number 4. I think that dinner party has interesting persons like guests, all of them with different topics to talk about. Okay. Party number 6. I love Marie Curie. I love everything she did, and I love the radioactivity. In fact, my degree work was about it. Awesome. In the 4th one, just for Henry Cavill. I think I know who that person is, but I totally agree with you. For party number 6, because I love the personalities that are going to attend the wedding. Well, it's not a wedding. We don't really know. Nobody's getting married. Okay, well, we can use that as a context. Why not? It will be interesting to know those women and see how they enjoy a party. Party number 3. I consider interest in the guests of this party, and I admire Angelina Jolie. She's a very talented actress. Her family is to be admired. Just because Cleopatra will be there, I would choose that party. I guess she's the most interesting person. Party number 6. Both guests are amazing, and I would like to talk with them. Number 8, Marie Curie and Adele. They are both women who have had important relevance in the whole world. The first one made history in radiation. Okay. And the second one with music. 1 more minute. I would like to attend the 5-1 party because them guests are so different, and that sería makes that. Okay. And that to that, my eyes are so different, and
That
that
make the party interesting, maybe, right?
yeah, probably like do that. That was like typed twice, and that is why it looked like. But if we eliminate that, then it gets like with sense. For the topics that we could talk, after could, remember that we don't make any transformation, guys. And after any modal. Let me check quickly. I'm the talent of the 3, and they are people who have shown themselves to be very kind so far. Because it has actors that I admire very much, and Princess Diana was a fashion icon that I would have liked to meet. Very good. I would talk with them about how difficult it was to be successful in their careers. Marie Curie will be the best dinner party I would like to have. It will be a great opportunity to ask her what cheers her up to be one of the first women scientists. Michael Jackson, I was waiting for that one. I think that he was an interesting person, and he faced a lot of criticism. I would like to know his feelings about that. The first one, because we can be able to talk about different topics as football, music, and history. Yeah, that was a pretty eclectic one. I would like to attend party number 3 because I admire so much Eddie Redmayne, and I love Fantastic Beast saga. Very good, guys. Well, as usual, thank you very much for all your work, for your effort. Let me share here the presentation. Guys, remember, continue working on the virtual campus specifically. And well, you already have the links to access to the materials and also to the recordings of the sessions. Guys, as usual, thank you very much and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Teacher.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
Thank you, teacher.